Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel once again. So in today's video I'm going to show you three simple technique of sketching, that is hatching, contouring and stippling. And these three sketching method is very simple, and I'm also going to show you a real composition based on these sketching techniques. So you can utilize all of them while drawing anything like landscape or botanical stuff or anything. So for today's video I'm showing you a group of leaf using different techniques of sketching. So let's draw the basic structure of what we are going to draw today. So basically we are creating group of leaves. So I have three groups of leaves in a particular string. So I'm creating one middle string and then three groups. The lower group has bigger leaves, the middle group has smaller leaves, and the topmost has the smallest one. Now you can create round kind of structure. So I have created two oval shape at the base, and at the top I have created a circle. Now inside this particular oval shape and circle you need to create multiple leaves in a different perspective. So you can create different perspective of leaves, like facing towards downside, side, upward direction. Likewise you can create a group of leaves in between. So I'm going to create 4 to 5 leaves for each group that I have. So I have created something like this for the base. This is the biggest one, the group having the biggest leaf in it. And then as you are moving upward direction, you can keep the leaf shape smaller. The middle one is smaller as compared to the lower one, and the topmost is having the smallest leaf in it. And the perspective is also a little different as we don't have any string. So I'm creating fewer perspective towards upward direction, and something like this I have created as a base for my drawing. And we are going to learn every sketching methods: hatching, contouring and stippling. And I'm going to show you how we can use those methods into this particular drawing. So let me trace everything with the help of pen so that you guys can see things easily. So I'm creating the outline of the leaf, and I'm also creating a middle line for each and every leaf that I have. But you can use anything. You can use flowers, you can use trees, you can use clouds, you can use anything to learn all these drawing techniques. So we are done with the basic structure. Now let's learn different technique. So first one is hatching. So I'm creating a rectangle kind of shape, and hatching means creating parallel lines side by side close to each other. So the closer the line, the darker shade you will get. So as you can see, you can keep these lines at distance, or you can create multiple lines side by side. So as I'm creating more closer lines in between, I'm getting darker shade, as you can see. So the lower portion has less shade, the uppermost has the most shade, because that portion has more lines in it. So this is all about hatching. Hatching means nothing but creating parallel lines side by side. Now you can do the hatching in different direction as well. It is not necessary to create vertical lines. You can keep diagonal lines, you can keep vertical lines, you can keep horizontal line. It's totally depend on you how you want to hatch. So likewise you can hatch in diagonal lines like I'm doing. So depend on your object, you can decide in which direction you want to hatch. So based on the density of the lines, you will get the shades accordingly. And as you can see, you can get the darker shade and the lighter shade based on the how much lines you have in that particular area. And depend on your need, you can create multiple lines like this in your object. So we have learned everything about hatching. You can hatch in different direction. Hatching means creating parallel lines. It's simple. Now let's do some hatching process in the middle group of my leaves. So I'm going to hatch all these leaves in a different way, and based on your hatching method you will get different shades in your leaves. Now for example, in the first one I am creating simple lines like this to get some shade into my leaf. Now let me do it in a little bit diagonal way because these are leaves, so I can create lines in little bit tilted towards the leaf or as per leaf perspective. So as you can see, this is more relevant when it comes to the leaf as compared to the first one, but that is also fine, right? Now you can keep these lines very close to each other to get different shade. So you will see the difference between the second one and this one. I'm hatching in the same way, creating diagonal lines like this on both the side, but as you can see, this one has darker shade as compared to the second one because the lines are very close to each other. Now create multiple lines very close to each other to get more darker shade. So as you can see, the process is same, but we are getting different shades because of density in the lines. Now you can do some cross hatching as well. Cross hatching means creating cross lines against the parallel lines that we have created. Now for example, I have created all these parallel lines like this close to each other. Now you can do some cross hatching, creating cross lines. So I'm creating some cross lines like this to get different kind of shades, and something like this you can do. Again, cross hatching can be in different direction as well, so it's not necessary to create parallel lines and diagonals line. You can start with the diagonal lines and then you can cross hatch with the diagonal lines in the different direction. So something like this also you can do when it comes to the cross hatching. So cross hatching means create parallel lines in any direction and then cross line in different direction. The direction of the lines is totally depend on you. So this is all about cross hatching. Now in this one I want to do some cross hatching because only creating lines like this is not something I needed. So I cross hatch this, and again how much lines you have defines how much shade you will get. So create some lines like this and then you can cross hatch the leaves to get some darker shade in it and to get some different kind of shade in it. So something like this you can do. Make sure you're doing all these things to get proper shade into your object. So something like this I have done. So I did some cross hatching on both the side. You can do same kind of cross hatching throughout the leaves like this. You can go multiple time with the different direction to get more darker shade, and you can see all these are done with the hatching and cross hatching methods, but we are having different shades in each and every leaf that we have. So this is all about hatching and cross hatching. Now let's learn about stippling process. So again I'm creating a rectangle kind of shape to demonstrate what is a stippling process. So stippling process is nothing but creating dots in the particular object to get some shades in it. Again, the density of dots defines the shades in your object. So more density means more darker shade and less density means less darker shade. So as you can see, all the dots are at distance, so you will get less shades in it. As soon as you add more dots in between, you will get more darker shade. So you can see the difference between these two halves. Now add more dots towards the left side and you can see the shade towards the left side is darker as compared to the middle and the rightmost side. Now this is the random dots that we have added. You can add these dots into a pattern. You can create some circular pattern like this with the help of dot. You can create some lines like this with the help of dots. So basically we are creating objects with the help of dots itself, or we can say we are adding shades into our object based on your object direction and object shape. Many artists around the world use only one technique for the whole drawing, like stippling or hatching, but you can use mix of all these sketching methods together to create your drawing. I usually use all these methods together to get some shades into my drawing. Now you have learned the random pattern, so let's create the random pattern in this particular leaf, keeping the distance little lower. Now let's create one more leaf with the help of random stippling process, but I'm keeping the density of dots higher in the tip of the leaf, so I'm getting darker shade at that particular area. Now I'm creating the same thing, but the density of dot is higher in this particular leaf to get some darker shade in it. So as you can see, the first leaf and this leaf has totally different shade because of density of dots in it. So that's the only difference. Now you can define some pattern for your dots. So I'm creating patterns like this with the help of dots itself. So that is also called stippling itself. You can change the direction of the pattern based on your need, and something like this you can do with the help of stippling process. Now you can see all the leaves are different, having different shades in it with the help of a stippling process. Now let's learn the last one, which is contouring. Contouring means creating the outline for a particular structure, but some artists also do contour to get some extra shading. So basically, you can create curved lines, you can create smooth bended lines to contour your object. So the difference between hatching and contouring means in the hatching we usually create straight lines in a vertical, horizontal, or in any direction, but contouring means creating curved line or going with the object shape itself. So something like this you can do, and this process is called contouring. So contouring you can utilize to shade your drawing in a little different way to get some pattern out of it. Many artists use the contouring method to create multiple patterns in a sequence, something like this. So the way you contour the object, you will get different shapes. So something like this you can do when it comes to the contouring. But basically, theoretically, contouring means defining and outlining a structure, and many beginners start with this particular process to start with the drawing. Again, the greater the density of these lines, the darker the shade you will get, like we have in the hatching. We can also do some cross contouring, again creating some cross patterns against the pattern that we have created earlier. Now let's do some contouring in the leaves itself. So I'm contouring all these leaves as per leaf pattern itself. Sometime you can do a very different pattern altogether. So for the first one, I'm creating curve like this. And as you can see, this one and this one is totally different because the first one has straight line and this one has curve line. Second thing, you can create some round pattern like this and then contour as per leaf shape. So you will get totally different shade, and something like this you can do. Another thing, you can create curved lines like this throughout the leaf and you will get totally different shade. So depend on how you are contouring the leaf, what kind of pattern you need, you can add all these lines and patterns into your object to get different kind of shading and to get different pattern into your object. Until now we have defined multiple patterns with the help of contouring process. Now if you want little dark shade, you can also do some cross contouring as well. So cross contouring means creating different pattern cross to each other. So you can combine the hatching and contouring process together to get some shading like this. You can do some extra shading into the stems as well to complete this particular drawing. And likewise you can create multiple objects based on these drawing techniques. You can use all these techniques to create some background as well, so I'm creating a little bit of background here and there. Again, it is optional. So this is all about hatching, cross hatching, stippling, contouring and cross contouring. So I'm hoping this video is helpful for you guys. Please do let me know if you have any feedback for me, and thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next video.